Alright dudes, this is Dan from the Games Ingredients, bringing you the second season of Going Retro. Though my two-part pilot hasn't proved very successful, I decided to go along with Season 2 after all. The theme of Season 2 is to explore platforming games that time has forgotten. Today we know platforming games for things such as Little Big Planet, Ratchet & Clank or Sly Cooper. These games have been some of the most successful and provide a large amount of content for former consoles, but today they seem to have been replaced by first-person shooters, and the platformer of today is no longer the same as the platformer of yesterday. With 3D technology and better hardware to work with, platformers have evolved where games no longer simply belong to a singular genre of game. So this series is to pay homage to those platformers that time forgot, and I'm starting with a game called The Adventures of Lomax the Lemming. Before you ask why this isn't an older Mario game, I think I should explain I collect PlayStation 1 games, so don't be upset if you don't get the request you're looking for. Either way, I tend to begin a video by looking through my huge collection of official PlayStation magazines for information. Though I was shocked to pull out issue 11 of official PlayStation magazine from October 1996 when this game was released, to find it wasn't even in there. So I've had to do a little bit more research than usual. Lomax, as the title is shortened to, is a game released for PlayStation 1 and Microsoft Windows in October 1996, as previously said. It was developed and published by a company formerly called Psygnosis, though you probably know them better now as Sony Computer Entertainment Liverpool studio, who are best known for the Wipeout games. I can't really provide you with much content from research, as those results also prove futile. So I'll do something you might not be able to do with games of the future. I'll turn to the manual. To read directly from the intro page in the manual, it says, Lomax is tough, Lomax is cool, he rescues damsels in distress and leaps in yawning chasms in a single bound. He gets up at dawn and parties hard, then he breakfasts on raw steaks and he parties some more. By the time he gets to bed, he's saved empires from collapse, gone over waterfalls in a barrel, drunk whole rivers dry, fought with monsters and dragons and tigers, and still remembered to brush his teeth. Lomax could fight you any day with one arm tied behind his back and a bag on his head. Lomax is the business. Yeah, in his dreams. It's not actually that hard, and he's a bit scared of heights. And as for monsters and dragons and tigers, just the thought of them turns his stomach. But now Lemming Land has fallen under the evil spell of Evil Ed, and there's only one Lemming left to break his evil grip, and that's Lomax. Does Lemming Land really stand a chance? In my hands, probably not, simply because it's been a long time since I played this game, so I want to start by talking about the game itself. Lomax is a title that many gamers probably haven't heard of, but many popular platforming games have been influenced by Lomax, not only by the superb level design and the mechanics fit snugly into a single game, but also because the intelligent design didn't make the game any less fun to play. You might die repeatedly, and if you're me, you will die repeatedly for a while, but the important part is that it's a game that makes you want to come back for more. You map out the level in your head as you play, so that when the next obstacle comes around from last time, you give it a slap and continue to the next obstacle that you'll spend countless lives overcoming. But this is an important part of any platformer. The games that don't have this kind of effect from the player suffer from poor design, in my opinion. They become stale, the level design becomes too repetitive, the difficulty spike too unpredictable, and the music can become agitating, especially if it's got an annoying song that plays when you die. Thankfully though, the designers of Lomax have managed to spice up the game and keep it fresh. This isn't as much of a problem as Perseverance is. Some of the fantastic points about Lomax can be the visual fidelity for a game from 1996, minorly improved by the PlayStation 3 smoothing, as you can see. The enemies are consistent and varied, and the music can become an addiction. And a soundtrack full of different influences from all around the world, wrong in so many ways and yet so right. You tend to get the music stuck in your head when you finish. Lomax is ironically voiced by a female voice actress called Catherine Saucy. She's had other popular roles in video games. She's played parts in Dark Chronicle, Final Fantasy X and X-2, Tomb Raider and even Kingdom Hearts, though she mainly voices in cartoons such as Dexter's Lab, and she helps give Lomax the sort of cheeky and happy attitude that brings out the character a little bit. Lomax himself has got some pretty neat abilities. His notable abilities are his spinning attack and being able to throw his hat as a projectile weapon, but abilities are later introduced, bringing some fantastic gameplay mechanics which make this platformer all the more special. This is the first platformer I played where the level can have several layers to it. Lomax can go further into the screen to get to a level behind the one you're on, and he can walk towards the screen to open up a new set of areas of the level also. It's also the first game I played that allows the player to move the camera up and down to check for obstacles. Pressing select, you can choose from 6 abilities that Lomax has at his disposal. Some of them require him to be wearing a helmet and some of them don't. There are 4 abilities that require a hat to be worn. The bomb helmet is pretty straightforward. Lomax throws it like a grenade and then lets it go boom. The flaming helmet is basically more powerful projectile attack than the average hat, and it stays airborne for a little bit longer as well. The hover helmet is another straightforward one, helping him survive long distance drops. And finally you have the grab helmet. Lomax extends the flick of his helmet like those sticky rubber hands you get from a 20p machine to grab onto an object within the level to reach areas he couldn't before because either there was a large gap before it or it was too high for him to reach, etc, etc. The other 2 abilities he has, he can use without having to wear a helmet. The first ability is to be able to dig. In certain parts of the level, he will be able to burrow through to reach new places that were otherwise inaccessible. His other ability, and the one I enjoy using the most, is the builder ability. Lomax collects builder tokens which allow him to place a floating plank of wood in the air that he can jump on. You can place quite a few of them at any one time, and by doing this you can reach high places. This is the first game I've played which allows you to do this, and thinking about it, it's one of the very few I've played where you can do that. But these abilities add a whole new level of thought with the level design. For example, you can place out the building abilities, so you have to place the planks in the correct order to proceed, which can keep you quite busy for quite some time. Everything considered, Lomax is a pretty deep platformer. It has everything a platformer should have: a simple password system, great level design, and enjoyable gameplay, which is why Lomax is the first platformer that I wanted to review in this series. While I don't think it's the best, I think it's certainly the game I think everyone should know about, especially when it comes to overlooked games. Lomax isn't available on PlayStation Network though, and I have no idea if you'll ever add it on there either. The only thing I can suggest if you want to play Lomax for yourself and see what I'm talking about is either eBay, Amazon.com, or making a topic on the PlayStation blog share and hoping enough people vote for it for someone to take it seriously. So to finish off, this has been Lomax. I'm Dan from the Games Ingredients. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for more Going Retro.